So why the divorce happen? What is your opinion?
It depends on the context.
You-
Why the divorce happen is the reason is very simple, because the woman cannot take the place from the man, and the man cannot take the place from the woman. So, but the modern world today has changed. Everything is changed. So, women want to be equal with men, and think they can have it by laws and life standard, which is not what the real reason is. Because if we go deep in the subject, we know that everything is spiritual. The spiritual precedes the natural. So in the spiritual, we see that in the creation, the woman was not created separate from man. The woman was created from man.
Taken out from man.
She was taken out from man, from Adam. And then Adam will be joined to his wife, and the two become one. So this is a perfect cycle. Now today, but if you look throughout the scriptures, the Bible, you will see that the woman has not the same position like the man. And they do not suffer from that. Today, a society has rejected the Bible and make its own rules. This is why we have this trouble. If you go in the Middle East and some region, you will see that the woman keep still today a position which is not the same as a man. For instance, you have some parts where the man eat separate, the woman eat after the man. Oh, it seems to be strange for us.
Because we're not used.
We are not used, and we look always at our own standard to think that what we are doing is the right way to do. And we want to enforce that to others. But I don't want to say that it is perfect. But today in the Western world, this is opposite. Since the 60s and 70s, we have women fighting to be equal to men in everything. And what does bring everything? They are fighting since now 50 years. And what do we see? We see increase in divorce, increase in problem, broken families, children who are separate, cut in two between parents. This is the fruits of the godless generation who think that the equality is the way of life. But they harvest the fruit of their wrongdoing or rejecting of principles which are given by a creator. And so woman cannot be a man and a man cannot be a woman. So it is created, and so it must be balanced. Now, we go in the Western society today, we have between 50 and 60% divorce in the first 5 years of marriage. And the reason is very simple, because marriages are not based on godly principle, but they are based on emotion, feelings and lust of the flesh. So there is a whole proverb who say, an old soup tastes always the same. So if you keep it every day to serve the same soup, come at a point,
boring.
The soup do not taste anymore. You eat it because you have need of food. And so it is in a marriage which is based on emotion or in physical attractivity. Come a point, this will not be enough. And this is why we see so dramatic divorce and chaos in Western society.
And so now, in the scriptural, in the Torah, how is it?
In the Torah is very simple. The Torah is very clear that a man and a woman represent the family. So this rule has never been changed. Some will say, oh yes, but there was a time when the people have 2 or 3 wives, and it's true. It's true, we cannot deny it, it's written. But since 2,000 years, the time of the Messiah, when the Messiah came, he came to restore everything. And one of the restoration is also in the family, because the family is a shadows of something which is much, much deeper. When we look at the family, we have to look at Adam and Chava, the one who is called Eve, Adam and Eve. But her name in Hebrew is Chava. So when we look at it, we see the difference, because Adam had only one wife. He was Chava. And they are the shadows of the Mashiach and the assembly. So the Chava represents the assembly, which bear fruit, because she will have children, so she bear fruit. And Adam was the first man. He came down from heaven by the will of Elohim. And Mashiach, according to Paul, he is the last Adam. He is the last Adam which came to restore everything.
Amen.
So
How is
if he restores everything, he restores also the marriage. And the marriage is one man, one woman. So simple.
Okay.
So simple.
One man, one woman.
One-
Hallelujah.
One man, one woman. And marriage is not a question of feeding. Marriage is a question of work. A marriage is not perfect by marriage. Marriage will become perfect by works. Everyone, man and woman, will have to work to have a perfect marriage.
Yeah. It was in because the divorce has been tackled in the in Brit Kadasha.
The divorce has been always what does Yeshua say? Moses gave you the divorce. It was not so planned in the beginning.
Moshe.
Moshe, because of your lust. But he said the only reason of divorce, which can be validated, is because of idolatry. Idolatry has many forms, okay? It's adultery. But adultery is also, in Hebrew understanding, adultery is also understood when man goes to a foreign god. This is also an adultery, because this is idolatry. It's an adultery. You leave your first husband to go, a spiritual husband, to go to another. So you commit adultery. And in this time, in the first century, and just before also, among the Yehudi, there was common to divorce a woman for many reasons. I don't like her food, she doesn't clean the house so much, she speaks too much, and so on and so on. Always a reason to find a divorce. And so they divorce, but to understand the context of about divorce in the book of Matthew, we have to understand the circumstance and what was going on. In order not to pay the due to the woman according to the Torah, they didn't give the bill of divorce, the gate of divorce.
Or the certificate of divorce.
Yeah, the gate of divorce. So that if somebody took the wife, the woman, he committed adultery because she was not legally divorced. Because in order to be legally divorced, she needs to have a gate of divorce from the husband. If you go into Israel today, this is the same system.
Oh, yeah?
There is no marriage before the mayor, and doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah, it's from
The marriage is as it was before. Now they write a ketubah and you are married. But if you want to divorce, the husband must give a gate of divorce and the wife must accept it. So this is a similar
But we know from
situation.
somebody, but What's happened? He
So
was not accepted. Why is
yeah,
it
yeah,
so?
but this is a very complicated. That is another story because here the one who in charge among the church in Israel sometimes it's not easy. So I don't want to enter into these details. In the first century, it was so that the Yehudi didn't give the get of divorce to the wife, so she was thrown out without a get of divorce.
But she cannot go another man
And
because
then
it's
if she
a
goes
child.
with another man, she commit adultery, and the man who take a wife commit adultery also. This is why the context. When you read Matthew, you have to understand this context. If you don't understand, you can interpret in any ways.
Yeah.
Yeshua never say that you cannot divorce. Okay, but he said there is condition to divorce, and this is a point. The point is that we need to understand why he said that you commit adultery. Commit adultery because the Yehudi, in order not to fulfill the duty, didn't give the get of divorce to the woman, to the wife. So it is. So today, I mean, there is also the same problem we see in Western society. It's the same. We see the same problem.
Now it's more on live-in
Yeah.
because
But
they don't know what is the future. Maybe they will
Li-
separate
living-
or not, or
living is
divorce.
a big lie, because marriage do not exist before Elohim. You don't go to Mayor.
Before the
To
marriage.
be married before Elohim, you don't go to Mayor.
No,
When you take a woman and you sleep with her with her consent, okay, with her consent.
with her consent.
Yes, of course. If you sleep with her consent, she become your wife, and it's finished. So you have to supply for her. It's
Yeah,
not.
because
It's
it's
not.
before Elohim. Huh?
Huh?
Because that is before Elohim.
It's not. A,
You
there
didn't.
is no such sex before Elohim. Okay, a man and a woman go to sleep and have a sex. It doesn't exist. So period. That's finished. So we have to understand what we call marriage. Marriage is a fulfillment of commandments before Elohim. Take a wife, go and multiply. This is the basic of understanding a marriage. So you take a wife, you go and multiply, you produce children. Okay? So, but if you go with a woman and you make the so-called live-in, then this is another name. You have in the Torah another name for that. It is called fornication.
It's a sin.
Yeah, it is a sin. The sin is a transgression of the Torah. Every time somebody transgresses the Torah, is sin.
Yeah.
But people do not even know what is sin. Majority of people today do not know what is sin. Or they will say, yeah, it's something that God do not like. Yeah, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like, indeed. But what is sin? Sin is defined in 1 John 5:3. It is defined as transgression of the Torah, the law. The law is the Torah. Torah is instruction how to live a righteous life. This is how I live. I want to live a righteous life. I have to open the 5 book Moses, and I have to study and to learn how to live a righteous life. And when I have that, then I can live a righteous life. See, I don't live according to this pattern, but I am a sinner. So simple. Right? So simple.
Yeah.
So, conclusion, the world is in chaos today, and everyone does what seems right in his own eyes.
Yeah, because the Torah is just a pick and choose,
Yeah. So
and
it
not
is.
even despised.
So it is. Okay.
Man's rules.
So,
Man's rules. That rules.
yeah.
Was gaat u voor zo'n video?
Not the
So
Torah,
we can-
Wat gaat u voor zo'n
but
video?
consequences will take place. Huh? Even we don't apply those, but the consequences
Yeah.
take place
Yeah.
because the word of Jehovah is true.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
will, even without our conscience, we don't know. But it's,
If we believe or not, it doesn't change the fact that Elohim remain Elohim. It doesn't change that. That is only a fool can speak so. I don't believe God. What does it mean? I don't believe God. Have you ever read one time the Bible? Have you ever take time to think about that? I don't believe. Okay, don't believe. This is your problem. You know.
okay, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you for your opinion.
You're welcome. Alléluia.